Hey everyone! If you've ever written a C++ program, you know that feeling. Your code is perfect, the logic is solid, but when you run it, the output is just a total disaster. Well, today, we're going to fix that. We're talking about C++ manipulators. These are the tools that let you take that jumbled text and turn it into something clean, professional, and actually readable. I mean, come on, has your console output ever looked a little, well, like this? It's a classic problem, right? You've got all the right information, but it's all just jammed together. It makes it almost impossible for a human to read. Sure, the program works, but let's be real, it looks messy and totally unprofessional. And that brings us to the big question, doesn't it? How do we take all that raw data and actually present it in a way that's clean, structured, and easy on the eyes? How do we get control over how it all looks in the end? Well, the answer, my friends, lies in C++ manipulators. These are these awesome little functions built right into the language, and they give you really precise control over the format and appearance of your output. So what are they exactly? Well, you can think of manipulators as special commands that you can just drop right into an output stream like cout. They basically tell the stream, hey, change how you're behaving for a second. They let you manipulate the formatting on the fly. You know, here's a really great way to think about it. Using manipulators in C++ is a lot like formatting a text document. Using endl, that's just like hitting the enter key to start a new line. And using a function like setw, which we'll get to in a sec, is kind of like setting tab stops to get all your text lined up in perfect columns. See? It's pretty intuitive. Okay, let's start with the manipulator you've almost certainly used before, even if you didn't realize that's what it was. I'm talking about endl. Its job is super simple, but absolutely essential. It just ends the current line of output. Now, you might be thinking, hang on, can't I just use the new line character /n? And you absolutely can, but there's a super important difference. They both start a new line, that's true. But endl does one extra thing. It flushes the buffer. This basically forces the program to write out any waiting output immediately. This is a huge deal for things like real-time logging, where you need to see messages the second they happen, not whenever the program feels like it. So endl is a great start, but it's a bit of a one-trick pony. For real control, like setting column widths or deciding decimal precision, we need manipulators that can actually take parameters. And to get access to those, we need to pull in a special header file. And this is a big one, so don't forget it. Before you can use any of these more advanced tools, you have got to add this line to the top of your code. #include #IOManipulate, it stands for input-output manipulation, and it's the key that unlocks all the really powerful formatting functions we're about to talk about. All right, let's break down the 3 most common tools you're going to get from IOManipulate. First up is setw of n. This lets you set the width for the very next thing you print out. This is the secret sauce for creating those nice, clean, aligned columns. Next is setprecision of n. This one is an absolute must-have for floating point numbers because it lets you control exactly how many decimal places you want to show. And finally, there's setfill of c. This one works hand in hand with setw. If setw creates extra space, setfill lets you decide what character goes in that empty space, so you could use a dot, a dash, or whatever you want. Okay, so we have our tools now. endl for line breaks, and setw, setprecision, and setfill for all the fine-tuning. Now for the really fun part. Let's put them all together and see how we can fix that horrible mess from the beginning. It is time to bring some order to the chaos. Just as a quick reminder, this is where we started. A complete jumble of names, ages, and scores all running together. You can barely make sense of it. And look at that. Here's the result. By using setw to give each piece of data its own space and setprecision to make sure the scores line up perfectly with 2 decimal places, the exact same data is totally transformed. It's clean, it's organized, it's professional. That is the power of manipulators. So, let's do a quick recap. At the end of the day, this is all about taking control. Manipulators are your toolkit for formatting C++ output. We learned endl gives us our basic line breaks and that important buffer flush. But the real magic happens when you include IOManipulate. That's what gives you setw for alignment, setprecision for numbers, and setfill for custom padding. Just mastering these few simple tools is what separates messy output from a polished professional report. So there you have it. You've literally gone from chaos to control. You now have the skills to make your programs not just work, but to make them genuinely user-friendly and professional looking. The only question left is, now that you can present your data with real clarity and precision, what are you going to build? Thanks for tuning in.